Hi, this is Tessa. It is early Wednesday morning and I just got home from the hospital, and I wanted to say I have the best group of people who attend my live streams. They were there for me last night when I had trouble breathing during the stream. They stayed with me, they encouraged me, and they were there while I was waiting for the ambulance to arrive. And I just want to thank everybody who was there last night for looking out for me and being so attentive and caring. Couldn't ask for a better group of people. I appreciate all of you. The good news is they couldn't find anything. The bad news is they couldn't find anything. I'm still wheezing. They gave me cortisone for that, a steroid. I don't know if it was cortisone. They gave me a steroid for that, and I have to take a steroid for the next 4 days. And they gave me an albuterol treatment, which they told me that the symptoms I was having with the racing heartbeat, then where it was so high and my blood pressure was high when they got here. What was the other thing? There was something else. They said it was all because of I had an albuterol treatment before I went on live stream to try to, because I couldn't breathe, and I was trying to make things better. But the side effects of albuterol cause what you saw, the shaking, the racing heartbeat, and the high blood pressure. So once the albuterol got out of my system, things calmed down a lot. Calmed down a lot. By the time, they were finished, going through their preliminary checkup, I was starting to breathe a little bit easier. And I still have a problem with breathing on exertion. I can breathe sitting here. Of course, they gave me a steroid. That helps a little bit. But if I got up and walked across the room and came back, we'd be right back to the struggling to talk and breathe and all that fun stuff that we went through. I have some really interesting streams. You got to admit it. I mean, if it isn't one thing, it's another. It's the first time I've actually been live while calling an ambulance. With everybody sitting there listening and watching, and they were worried and they wanted to make sure I was okay. So I left the computer live stream on until the cop got here. And then I told them I was with somebody now. The cop was here and I turned it off. Well, I had to anyhow. You would have told me to, even if I hadn't. But, the ambulance was right behind them. So they weren't too concerned about it because they said a lot of my symptoms were due to the albuterol. Now, the albuterol, of course, was because I couldn't breathe. And it really wasn't helping me breathe. But my oxygen levels were great. Now, I was wheezing off and on. And the doctor caught that. And at first he thought there was fluid in my lungs. But when they did the chest x-ray, they couldn't find any. They checked for clots because my legs were swollen. So again, breathing, clots, and swollen go together. So that was the next thing on the list that they checked. No. So, these are all good things. But like I said, good news, nothing wrong. Bad news, nothing wrong. What is wrong? Something is wrong. But again, here we go. We can't find out a reason, for what's happening. And they told me they were keeping me overnight. So this was at like 12 o'clock. I called my daughter, woke her up, and said, all right, you don't have to come get me. She went back to bed. Why not? She has to get up in the morning to go to work. So did the rest of the, her husband had to get up early. The kids had to go to school. She went to bed. Makes sense. Turns off the phone for nighttime. I never turn my phone off just because of family emergencies. And I could have tried calling and maybe waking her up if she had it on, but I don't know if she turns hers off or not at night when she goes to bed. She may have, she may not have. But I didn't want to wake everybody up. So here it is now, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I tried texting her because I figured that would make less noise. If she was still awake, she would hear the text. She didn't answer. I said, okay, great. I told the nurse, called him a kid. He was a kid. He was really young. I said, well, so far I'm not getting a ride. This is kind of a weird thing. You tell me I'm staying and then you decide to kick me out in the middle of the night. It would have been bad enough at 12 o'clock, but now it's, it's after 2 o'clock. So he gave me the treatment, everything, and left the room. So I'm like, I really don't want to have to wake up. Because my other daughter, same thing. Early morning, work, kids, school. And then I thought, wait a minute. My grandson got out of the military. He was in the U.S. Marines for the last 4 years. He got out about 6 or so weeks ago. So I didn't want to do it. But I texted him. I said, are you awake? And he goes, I am now, Grandma. I'm like, I'm sorry. He says, it's okay. What's up? So I told him I was in the hospital and they were going to keep me, and then they changed their mind and I don't have a ride home. Are you working tomorrow? Is it possible for you to come get me? He said, yes, I'll come get you. He's not working yet. He's trying to get unemployment, but that's not working so far. He's getting ready to go to school. So he doesn't really want to get a job. He just got out of the Marine Corps and he wants to take some time and get ready to go to school because he's going to go to university full time. So, I hoped he was still unemployed, which he is. So he goes, I can do it. I'll stay awake. Don't worry about me. So when the time comes, I text him. Of course, there's no answer. Great. Now what do I do? Because he's in the house with his mother, my other daughter. And I'm like, I'm going to have to call him because I don't have a ride home. So I called his number, and he answered in a ring and a half. And I said, Rich. He says, oh, God, I'm sorry, Grandma. I said, hope I didn't wake anybody else up. He's like, no, I'm in the other part of the house. Nobody heard the phone. I said, okay, great. I need you to come get me now. So by the time I get home, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, approximately. And I'm like, here I am. I'm too wound up to go to sleep. I have to take a pain pill, which I just remembered I forgot to take. I'm in pain. I can barely move because it's been way over the last pill. I should have taken it a long time ago, and I didn't because I was in the hospital. So he drops me off around 3:30 or so. Of course, we have a guard at the door. And he had to come up and get my walker because I didn't have it with me. I went by ambulance. So he had to get in, explain to the guard. I gave him my keys. I said, just use the key fob and go in. You shouldn't have any problem. You got the keys, you got the fob, But he asked the guard if he could go in. He said, that I was out in the car. And after he went upstairs, that guard came and looked out the window to make sure he wasn't lying. I said, when he came down, I said, he checked out the window to make sure I was sitting out here. So he didn't really fully believe you. But he did come down with my walker, and I did come in. And so I nicely thanked him for letting my grandson come in at the thing, And he's like, okay, that's all right. I would have let you in too, but I didn't see you standing there because I had to use my key fob to get in because he wasn't at the thing. He was doing something. So I had to use the key fob to get in. But here I am. I'm home. Still shortness of breath. I don't know the issue. We may never know the issue. Hopefully this is going to resolve itself. But there's no telling. It did not show I had congestive heart failure, so that was not a problem. And they did an EKG. They did the cardiac enzymes. I'm like, he says that now you need to follow up with a cardiologist. I'm like, why? I don't have a cardiac problem. He goes, well, you have chest pain. I said, I don't have chest pain. I don't remember saying I had chest pain. And he got mad at me. Too bad, obviously. Too bad. The pulmonary doctor, yes. I need to go and find out why I can't breathe. But I do not need a cardiologist. You did not give me any reasons why I would need to see a cardiologist. It would be just another wasted visit. And he's not close, so I'm not going to the cardiologist. So he got mad at me. I should have just kept that to myself and just not gone. But stupid me, opened her mouth. And then I said I had an ache because I'm having a panic attack, which causes an ache in my chest. And my fibromyalgia is flaring now because I'm stressed and upset, and that makes my chest ache. I do not have chest pain. There's a difference. It aches. It's a whole different, they hear chest pain of any kind and they go into overdrive. Well, they ruled everything out. They said there's nothing there. So why would I have to go to a cardiologist? I should have just kept my mouth shut and stopped arguing with the guy, because he was angry. I could tell it by the way he was getting very snippy, which he shouldn't have been getting snippy. He's like, I'm just doing this for your own good. I'm like, I understand. But listen, I don't need a cardiologist. You just ruled everything out, cardiac. I do not need to go to a cardiologist. The pulmonary, yes. He's the one in charge of the breathing. I don't know if I'll go there right away because I have an appointment set up for a week, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks anyhow. And unless something gets really worse, what's he going to do? They did everything in the hospital he's going to do. Aside he's not going to change medications. I got all these nebulizer medications now. I can't possibly take any more. I already had a chest x-ray. There's no sign of fluid in my lungs. I really don't see what he has. I just shut up at that point. I said, I'm not telling anybody anything. And I may or may not call my family doctor. Or they probably will call. The doctor will call me tomorrow, wake me up when I'm trying to sleep, and say I need to come in for a checkup because I was in the ER last night. Because they are so nice to make sure they call the PCP to let them know. So I will probably get a phone call. But I do appreciate all of you who stayed there with me while I was waiting, and for all your support and your love and everything. You were so great. I really appreciate you guys. I love my little stream of people. I may not be big, but I've got great guys that come and attend my streams, and I love all you guys. I plan on starting to stream again. There's no reason why not. I can talk now. So whatever happened, I don't know what it was that was so intense. I guess the steroid is what's, controlling it right now, and I have to get that filled tomorrow. if I feel like it. Depends on what time I get up, whether or not I go over to drag myself out to the store, over to the pharmacy to get the medication or not. So we'll see. But I have the prescription for more steroids, which plays havoc with my blood sugar. And I realized afterwards that I forgot to take my insulin with dinner, so that's why my blood sugar was so high. So the background behind me is different than normal. I'm sitting in a different spot. I have one of those, what do they call them? Gooseneck camera holders. So I can change it to whatever direction I want to. It's a lot easier than that tripod. And I'm going to put it up wherever there's a table and just turn it around to where I need it to be. So that's what I did. I did a video, my plan with me video. And then I did this video. And then, well, of course, I still have to edit them. Just what I want to do. Editing and I don't get around. We don't get along too well. So, this is getting long. Let me go. Again, I appreciate all of you. I thank all of you for hanging in there. And I will see you on the next stream. Have a great one. Bye.